Hello everyone, and welcome to Financial Literacy Films. Today I will be telling you all about identity theft. And so, I don't know if you knew this, but students are the most likely to fall victim to identity fraud. And basically what identity fraud is when someone uses your personal information to secure loans, set up accounts and services, withdraw cash, things like that without your approval. So some of you may be wondering how such personal information can be found by a total stranger. So one of the really common ways that information is taken and identity theft occurs is because personal documents with really sensitive information like your birth date, your full name, your address, things like that, are just discarded in the trash fully intact, and then sometimes people will go through that and then find your documents. And so this is a really big problem because you really need to shred those papers that have your information on it, because you don't want people to be able to easily access all of your personal information. Another way, it's kind of sneaky, but someone can steal your information by looking over your shoulders. You enter your little PIN on the keypad when you're using your card out on the town. And if they see it that way, they can also steal your information. Sometimes, this doesn't happen that often, but sometimes there'll be storage devices when you make transactions somewhere, and so you have to be very careful where you make transactions, because they can keep your information and store it, and you don't want them to do that. Also, there's something called malware, which is bad computer software that can go onto your computer and take a hold of records of your very sensitive information. And lastly, sometimes different places will use schemes to try and reel people in. Like, I'm sure you've heard of people calling elderly people and saying they're in the IRS or they need money to bail their grandson out of jail or something crazy like that. And they use these really specific schemes pretending to be other people to try and reel you in and get your information. So you have to be very careful who you give your information to. So with all of this terrifying information just kind of being thrown at you, you may want to know how to prevent identity fraud. And guess what? This girl can help you. So I already mentioned this before, but you want to shred sensitive documents, and this includes anything with your name, address, credit card information, or bank account numbers. And if you shred that way it's a lot harder for people to access your private information. And this is really essential to protecting yourself. You also want to make sure you shred credit card offers too, because someone could find that and sign up for it in your name, and that's no bueno, so we want to make sure that we shred that too. You also want to opt out of pre-approval offers, and also go for paperless billing whenever you can. You also want to protect your birth certificate, social security card, and passport by putting it in a really safe place where no one else can find it and it won't be misplaced. And this next one's going to be super hard, but please omit your full name, your address, and your birth date from social media platforms. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous, but when you have all of those three things kind of just out there online for anyone to see, it's really easy for a dangerous person to pick out that information and just put it into their little hacking website and be able to plug those things together to be able to steal your identity, which is really bad. You also only want to shop and bank online from very secure websites, because you're putting your information in there, and if it's not a secure website, they can take it, they can sell it to other people. So what you want to do is always make sure that there's the HTTPS, I know you guys know what I'm talking about, up in the address bar, because that means that it's a secure website. And also always log off from any website that has your credit card information in it. Maybe you're on Amazon, maybe you just subscribe to Ipsy or something like that. Hashtag spawn. Not really, we don't get sponsors. And maybe you subscribe to Ipsy or something like that, and you use your credit card. Well, you want to log out of that because you don't want anyone else to be able to see that information. Another really great way to protect yourself from identity theft and identity fraud is to monitor your statements. So what you want to do is you want to check your credit card statement every month for invalid charges. You also want to notice if your statements stop coming, which I didn't realize would be a problem if my identity had been stolen. But apparently when someone steals your identity, they could change the address so that the statements start getting sent to them instead of to you, which is a really big problem. And also notice if the opposite happens. You start receiving statements and contracts for things that you did not sign up for, because that probably means that someone else did. So let's say you took all those measures and precautions and you found out that something isn't adding up. You really need to act quickly, because most people who steal financial data act within the first 48 hours of getting the information. That's crazy. Like 2 days after they get your information, they're already trying to steal stuff and you're still trying to figure out if anything's even wrong. So please act quickly. If you report it within the first 48 hours, that means that you have a $50 liability for the charges, which isn't too bad because a lot of things can happen with identity theft and what they choose to buy. If it goes from 49 hours to 60 days, that means your liability goes through the roof to $500, and if it's over 60 days, you may be liable for all of the charges, which is the worst because someone else stole your information. So act as quickly as you possibly can. If you unfortunately really are a victim of identity theft and identity fraud, you want to contact an agency like Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax, and the one you contact must contact the other two, which is really important. You can also ask for a fraud alert to be placed on your account. I think the basic one lasts about 90 days. Yeah, the basic one lasts 90 days. You can get one that lasts up to years, but if you really just want that basic protection on your account, 90-day fraud alert is the way to go. Now that you have your fraud alert placed on your account, what you want to do is report the theft to the Federal Trade Commission online through a complaint form. And once you're done with that, you need to save and print the identity theft affidavit. Let me say it again. You need to save and print the identity theft affidavit that they give you, because later you need to go to the police station and report the theft so you have an official record, and you can't do that without the affidavit. So remember her, she'll come back for you, you gotta have it. Once everything has been taken care of, and thank goodness everything is reported, what you want to do is close any new accounts that were made in your name that you did not approve, remove any unauthorized charges from your account, and take off any fraudulent entries from your credit report. Alright, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about some safety things and some identity theft things. I got you. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, because those are being used as evaluation purposes for my Goal to Work project. I hope you have a fantastic day, and remember how lit finance can be.